And what I've seen with a lot of lifters just here and from high school up, technique still matters,
Absolutely, especially for athletes.
Yes,
because the chance
not to the degree with football players as it does with powerlifters.
No,
it is a
different. Yes. Well, we that's what we I want great rep integrity. Yeah. Well, because the issue with athletes is if they get hurt lifting, they're not there to lift. Yeah, they're there to play their sport.
What do you mean by rep integrity?
That means like rep integrity would be you take great pride in every single rep that you do and that it is held to the highest standard possible. So, and I expect, because I always say each rep is your reputation. And so what this, we do a lot of this stuff at the school, but I want great discipline in every little thing everything we do is done like discipline where the young kids come up, they get the seniors fuck them down. Like we have a standard here, but that carries over obviously to everyday life. I get that, but on the football field, I tell the kids all this. We're not going to win any games because we're going to out talent anyone. We will out discipline and we will run you into the ground, and that's the goal. And the kids once they kind of see once they go through an off season and then they get on the field and they start burying motherfuckers, then they're like, oh, okay, now I get why so now those guys teach the younger guys about how important it is. So, but the real reason why is it keeps the weight down on the barbell. My goal isn't to put more weight on the barbell. My goal is to get the kids stronger and better football players. But not at the expense of a shitty squat and, their knees come in and it's horrible. And it's to me, it doesn't do any good. I always tell the kids 5 great reps, 5 fucking reps is better than 15, herky-jerky reps. Yeah. And as soon as you start doing that, then let's say we're going to do this set like I want it to be done. I'm going to coach you through this set, and they get done. Like, oh my God, that sucks. I'm like, yep, every set has to be exactly like that. I'm like, it's, but they take pride in it.
Yeah. It's funny to me because I used to roll my eyes at stuff like that, not for the reasons that people think, just because I always just took it for granted.
Yes, that's the other thing, right? Yeah.
Like discipline, for instance, it's for those people that are listening that, are not the athletes and stuff like that. Just with your own training, there's so few people that I know that are actually seriously consistent and disciplined with their own training. People training for meets, people training for other things, they may have a program, protocol, whatever they have, template set up to train 4 days a week.
Yes.
And so 16 workouts a month and they fucking miss half.
Yeah.
And to them, they're okay with that. That's why I used to roll my eyes, because I'm never okay with that. I'll go in, I'm not going to say I'm going to bust my ass. If I'm not feeling it, I'm still going to
do something.
And I'm going to do something. If not, I'm going to be there just to spot and be there for the other people.
So, that's why I changed my training.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but I got to a point, and I'm going to use some unflattering language. Just the injuries, like I can't push on the bench, I can't push on the deadlift, and so I could still train, but it wasn't what I wanted. Like it'd be it just didn't scratch the itch for me, and I noticed that it affected every part of my life. And I don't mean that because I had a bad workout, I was a mean dad. Yeah. I didn't have that same attention to detail, and I remember thinking, what have I fucking hate how I turned into.
Yes.
And so I said, I'll never forget, Rhodes was probably around just this. I said, listen, I'm going to do this every single day, regardless of how I feel, regardless of anything else. I don't care how injured I am, how bad I feel, whatever. And so my training then became not about doing X, Y, and Z. It was being committed to do the thing I didn't really want to do all the time. Yes. And all of a sudden it paid off in dividends in my relationship with my wife. I was a way better coach because I was so much more disciplined in every little thing I did. So it didn't matter how tired I was, 2 to 3 workouts a day, I just pounded the shit out of myself. And that's what changed me. It wasn't that I did all these push-ups and squats and chin-ups. It was I developed better discipline to get stuff done.
Yes.
And that changed me. And everyone you did all these squats, and dude, the squats didn't matter to me. Obviously physically it helps, but for me it was a test of my discipline to see what I was made of. And then you start reading about the Rangers doing stuff for the SEALs. And you're like, this is really not asking that much.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
We got PT for 6 hours a day. I can do something for an hour.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody's if you think about what you just said, if somebody's a coach and they're working with other people, but they can't be disciplined in their own training,
They drives
can't
me insane.
Be a coach.
Well, when everyone asked me, like, how do you get the kids to buy in? I said, the most important thing is you show them that you're living up to a higher fucking standard in every area of your life than what you expect out of them. Every area has to be, top of how you treat other people, how you look, how your own train is. I tell the kids all the time, I will out-discipline any one of you motherfuckers. I will. You may be able to beat me in the prowler, but I'll run you fucking down. I'll be out here all night, and you're going to go home crying. I'm not that mean.
No, but I get what you're saying, and the people that are listening,
because the kids respect that.
I don't want people listening to misunderstand. We're not saying you have to set up. You're going to train 7 days a week, every single day a week.
No,
if you're not consistent now, be consistent twice a week.
Yes.
And when you're consistent with that, take it up.
Yes.
Push your. You know what I'm saying? Push your standard.
Yes.
Right. And
the kids can tell.
Yes.
They can tell.
Well, everybody can tell.
Yeah,
your wife can tell. Your friends can tell. Everybody can. I agree 100% with what Jim's saying.
And it was but for the people that, that doesn't have to be just training, obviously, but for us that live in the training world, this is something that represents a part of our identity and part of our personality. And that's why I attacked that first, and then everything kind of fell into place. But, obviously the kids, because I train in my garage and do all the weight fest walks and stuff. They see me, but the most important thing is you carry yourself differently.
Yes.
And then it was like when a guy's shooting up heroin, it's like, well, I never shoot up in front of my son. And he's like, well, maybe your son doesn't know, but he knows something's not right.
Yeah.
When you're nodding off and being all fucking crazy, it's the same kind of idea. It's like the kids know in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it's I like what you said, that it doesn't have to be just training.
No,
because myself personally, I write a little bit every day.
Yes.
Most of it will never be published.
Yes.
I read every day. These are things I just do every day. You think I want to do it every day?
I know.
Look, I don't want to train 4 days a week all the time. Most of the time, I don't want to train at all. But I have that standard that I have to do this, because if I don't do this, then I'm going to have problems here.
Yep.
Yeah, well, how you do one thing's how you do everything. And it's one of the things I tell our kids. I can watch you train in a weight room, and I can go tell your coach what you're good at and what you suck at. If you complain, if you half-ass in the weight room, you do it at practice. You probably do it in a classroom. You probably do it in a relationship. It's a habit. Mm-hmm. It's not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what you're saying is it's a reflection of your actions are a reflection of your character.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you're helping these kids at a high school level do that. Which is a huge thing.
And I have to remember that too, because I remember how I was when I was in high school, and I'm like, man, I'm really expecting a lot of these kids sometimes, and I'm like, well, fuck it. Like, if I don't do it, someone worse is going to influence them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the thing is, they will reach the standard, even if it's insane. They will, and I mean this in the best way. They don't know any better.
No one does.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can do that because he thinks I can.
Like when I saw Cam Haynes runs 26 miles every single day. He's a champion, what do you call it, ultra runner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been on Joe Rogan a bunch of times. He's a really prolific bow hunter. And anyway, to make a long story short, when I heard that, I was like, I couldn't, rewind. Like, did he say 26? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit. And now he's like, listen, I started off with a mile. Mm-hmm. And I built, that's the other thing people need to understand. It takes time. But I realized, what can be accomplished.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not ever going to be up to that standard or anything, but I can make my own high standard. And I remember when I started doing some of the stuff I was doing, I couldn't, when I first started, it was so low, like the reps and stuff like that. And now I get how can you do all those reps? I'm like, it's not even a big deal. Yeah. That's, it's not, and I think, holy shit, it is kind of a big deal. When you look back, but.
Well, the first step is the biggest step, but I think most people make it too big of a step.
Yes. I started off.
Bite off way more than they can chew.
Yeah. I started off with 5 rounds.
Yeah. Oh God.
You know, five.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
5. 15, 10, 5, 5 times, and I was like, "Woo, boy,
Yeah.
probably going to join the army tomorrow."
Yeah. Exactly.
Heads up, ladies, killer coming through. And but I started there, and I always it's the Joe DeFranco business model. I did that until I could do it with the flu, smoking a cigarette, and then I progressed to the next thing. So I never. By that time, you understand the Joe DeFranco model. Same kind of thing. I'm like, I got a lot of time here.
Yes.
Like, I'm not looking to do. I'm like, in a year, I want to be where here. So I'm like, I'll take 6 weeks to, until I bump up a little bit again. So
I mean, for some people, it may be just as simple as just walking to the stop sign and back.
Yes.
That's just do that 4 days a week.
Just touch your toes.
Well, yeah, hell. I mean, if you
And then that turns into, maybe I'll keep going and
eventually.
The way I did it, because I did something similar to you, because I'm very similar to what you're doing. And it's just like, I remember one day I was doing whatever push-ups I think it was. And I'm like, I really got to start doing 10. Like, it's to the point where it's easy.
Yes.
But it had been easy for a little while. So when I did bump it up, it wasn't this massive shock to the system.
I think
it just
people get wrapped up. I call it the Iron Mind training. Like every week I'm going to add 5 pounds or add a rep. It doesn't work like that. You got to, and I saw that with the kids. With our trap bar, we would stay at one weight for 8 weeks, and the kids started to get bored. I'm like, all right, now we can go up a little bit.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was those 6 weeks, even though you're doing the same weight over and over again, you get better and better and faster and stronger. You may not see it with weight, but
it happens.
Their increase in strength was so astronomical. I couldn't believe it. I told Rhodes, I'm like, dude, I don't know. This is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
If
if you don't impose the discipline in some way on yourself, life will impose it on you.
Oh, yeah.
It could be, after a hip replacement, do we have a choice on walking every day? Right? If you end up in prison, do you have a choice? The discipline's going to be thrust upon you.
Yes.
So what do you want to control your life, or do you want it to be controlled by, other forces?
The same, see that with people who have type 2 diabetes. Now you got to shoot insulin all the time, or you could just go walk and start a habit. And you're right. Life now decided for you.
Exactly. And now that's it. Have a heart attack. Guess what? Now you're going to have to do the cardiac rehab, whatever it's going to be. Life will find a way. I would rather
Jurassic Park right there.
I want to control as much of my own fate as I possibly can. Let me assess my risk and benefit ratio. And I don't want to, we go down that too far. We're going to.
No. I was just thinking about, boy.
Time to back off of that one. I don't want the fucking government telling me, So we'll just back out of that one.
We'll tell you what's good for you, Dave. It's not good for us.
Yeah, let's find another question here real quick. Oh man, this is too long to read, dude. Do you know anybody that's come back from a broken forearm? Yes, I do. I had both bones put back together 12 weeks ago, been doing PT surgery. Here's the thing about coming back from injuries, and obviously I get a lot of questions around that. I don't care what the injury is, there's probably somebody out there that's come back from it. Mm-hmm. So if they've been able to come back from it because of the discipline, the will, desire, or whatever it is, then why can't you?
It's all that stuff we just talked about.
Yeah.
Be really patient, be almost undertrain.
Yeah.
Let everything accumulate.
We call it front loading the rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can come back from it. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of, death. You're not going to come back from that, I suppose. But,
depends how good your doctor is.
Yeah, exactly. What was that one movie that they would kill themselves and come back from it from?
Flatliners.
Flatliners. Yeah.
That was, God, what's her name? Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Man, that guy wrote a dissertation here. Oh my God.
I can't. I'm just.
What are some of the funniest gym fails that you guys have seen?
I find those gym fail things terrifying. I never watch any injury or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't
That's
like
what
that
they're
stuff.
talking about.
I think they're asking about what we've seen in a gym, and I can't say I've ever really seen. I've been in private gyms.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I saw Vincent. This always made me laugh. We were overhead pressing. I think he was getting ready to do one of those little strongman things he wanted to do. And he was pressing the weight, and then he would drop it. But it wasn't bumper plates or anything like that. Whatever. He drops it, it catches something, and shoots right back into his shins. And I couldn't stop laughing because I kind of saw it coming. And he wasn't a guy that would necessarily listen to some things, so I just didn't say anything. But you kind of saw it. He'd press something stupid, and he'd come down with it, and he'd just, instead of catching it and setting it down in a manner that's a little safer, it would just be like a free fall, and it hit, and that bar shot out and hit his shin so hard, and I started laughing.
Well, he must not have been happy.
Oh no, it was, but he didn't get hurt.
Yeah,
but it hurt. And you know what I mean? And I was like, well, saw that one coming.
Yeah, I mean the gym fails that I've seen were like people getting hurt, like serious type.
Yeah,
I remember the first meet. This was your meet. It was your. How many meets did you run, Dave?
I don't know, 5, 6, something like that.
It was the second meet that I did of yours. So I don't know where that fell on the. I don't know if he ever did anything after that. There was a guy that from Tennessee. He had come up and trained with Kevin and I and Jason, and so we were friendly. I didn't really know him that well, and he was, I think, he was in my flight. And the flight was, I don't know how many people were in the flight, 10, 8?
15 maybe.
Okay,
yeah, 10, 15.
And so we were all, we all got warmed up, and he was on the platform, and he broke his femur.
Oh, I remember that.
It sounded like someone smashed a baseball bat on another baseball bat. It was one of the most horrifying sounds. And I remember John Bott was like 2 or 3 after him. He's like, I saw him get up. He's like, I'm done.
No,
this was right after his injury.
Fracture. It was loud.
So he is getting carted off because this was like a 30-minute that we had to get the ambulance there, and they cart him off by me. He's like, hey there, GM squat something big. And I was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. He actually trained with. No, he was. He trained with you guys off and on. He visited Westside a few times, but man, that was the loudest one I ever heard.
Yeah.
We had a guy.
That was the first time I squatted 900. I remember that because I'm like, I'm gonna see what I'm made of right now. And oh my god! But I remember John, the guy right after, got out of the bar, did about an eighth of a squat and said, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
And then John Bott's like, "Later, boys," because John had that horrible injury.
Yes,
anyway.
Yeah.
I saw one of the guys I trained with broke his forearm benching, and on the way down or way up, it doesn't matter. And
it's tough.
Yeah, that was rough. So to the guy that answered the forearm question,
Christ.
That's impressive, Dave. Is that a welder? That's impressive, dude.
Gotta have one of the fucking hoods.
That's probably not how you're supposed to do this, by the way.
Oh, that's funny. Jesus.
So you were saying?
Yeah.
You could hear it through the microphone, by the way.
Yeah, that's
It's like a
propane.
Yeah. Guess that we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Definitely broke the train of thought there.
Yeah.
What's next?
I don't know. I just ruined this. That's not what you're supposed to do. Oh my God. Good. Are there any questions that come through on the super chat?
Boy, this place is smoking.
No. They don't give a shit.
People give a shit. We got $30, but
nobody has any questions. I'll go back to the Instagram. That's why I haven't asked many questions, because normally they don't ask anything.
As Johnson said, can't think of a better way to start season 3.
Yeah, us sitting here not knowing what to talk about. There's a lot of shit we're going to talk about, but it ain't going to be on here.
Dave blowing his face off with his
the torch thing just ended up being a big mistake. Don't torch a cigar. Let's put it that way.